make white bread out of exciting raisin bread. And that's where we are. Tromaville is building a community for all things edgy, for all things unique and independent. We're offering unique and independent clips of films. We're offering old film clips. We're offering strange flash animations. We're offering a host of community services where lovers of independent culture can have free email, they can trade messages on bulletin boards, they can find each other with a romance category. What we're trying to do is to build a huge community for lovers of wild, edgy, crazy culture, the kind of culture that Troma's been about for a long time. We believe in the net because it's the easiest and best way to get a lot of information to a wide variety of our fans all over the world, and we're committed to the net. We're committed to pay-per-view, we're committed to video, we're committed to film, we're committed to all ways to get our content, to our unique voice, our unique, strange, wacky, never before seen, branded, wild stuff all over to everyone. Now we're here in the content and marketing area. Jen Osborne is our main content editor here at Tromaville.com, and so she's in charge of what you see on the net. If you don't like what you see, I can give you her phone number, but essentially, Tromaville is supposed to be for all things independent, all things wild and wacky, all things fun. And so Jen is out there looking for the fun content, finding it, creating it, and putting it up on the net for our fans to see. There's no huge staff of wild, aggressively dressed in suits, overpaid editors. In fact, we've got a few interested, exciting folks working here. One of the things that we believe the internet is in its best incarnation, and what the internet was really originally intended to be before Disney and Warner got a hold of it, was, hey, it's the free transfer of information among equals. And for the first time ever, we're equal with the big studios. We're equal with the vertically integrated entertainment companies. We are now, finally, the sole arbiters of what we feel our fans want to see. We are in the business of showing them exactly what we want to show them, and they are in the business of wanting to see the coolest, the wildest, the wackiest stuff.
Basically, one of the newest technologies that's becoming more readily available through the internet is the Real Player. It allows you to stream video across the internet so that someone in the privacy of their own home can view certain clips or news coverage or interviews and whatnot. I think the technology is still pretty in its infant stages there, but definitely that's where the future of the net is.
As regards Salvation Films and the internet, we've just done finalising a deal for our catalogue to go on, be online via a streaming company, which means I don't know if you're in Japan and you want to watch one of our films, you just tap in your credit card number, or you get it. In this case, you actually get it for free, and you can stream it down and watch it on your computer. The big change, I think, will be about another 2 years when the internet goes fully digital and then goes via your television rather than the computer.
Just recently, last Halloween, they made Night of the Living Dead, the original Night of the Living Dead, available through the internet as a download. You could download the whole film. It was amazing. I mean, it would take you now with technology, 2 or 3 hours to download it, but yet it would give somebody in, the Soviet Union who may never had a chance to actually see the film the ability to download it and watch it in the privacy of their own home, and they were offering that at no charge.
Some people may say, oh my god, this is awful, we must censor the internet. Now the only companies doing that at the moment, to my knowledge, is Singapore and China that actually actively are stopping their citizens going on the net. Now I know Jack Straw's calling for some very draconian legislation to access everybody's emails, or access everybody's, what they're doing on their computers, and I think we should be very concerned that the government are so frightened of what we might watch or do or access via our computers.
In any new technology like the internet, I think it's difficult, because it's a global phenomenon that operates down telephone lines from country to country, from person to person. It's very difficult to regulate. I accept that. And of course, where you have films, and I think Stephen King's latest novel is only going to be published on the internet, and records have just been published on the internet. They're not going to be sold through the shops. It's a new phenomenon, I think, this sort of direct marketing, and obviously this will have impact as the technology improves and the imagery improves. There will be a market for direct selling of films on the internet. I think that will be a natural development. And as such, I appreciate that there are difficulties with how that can be possibly regulated.
The internet now is in danger of becoming the new video nasties, if you like. That the government are desperately keen to be seen to be doing something about crime. Now, the irony here is that we have one of the, in fact, we do have the highest level of state censorship of film anywhere in the Western world now, without question. And yet we have one of the highest crime rates. In fact, apart from murder now, it's official. Crime in the UK has outpassed the US crime figures now. But the internet is now this new, to me, is in danger of becoming the scapegoat for this. For now, you know, the way that video nasties did in the early 80s, you have both occasions. You had rising crime, and you have a Home Secretary under pressure to do something about it.
There have been a number of court cases in Germany, in particular, where somebody was, I think, one of the big internet service providers was charged with allowing access to child pornography. Well, the prosecution, I think, fell because the service provider said he had no knowledge of the fact that this was being downloaded. I think we need to look at that whole area of how the internet service providers actually work and what their function is. The
internet, the video nasties, they represented two things to the government. They meant that their citizens could access material that they couldn't control. That was all, I mean, in a very simple way, that's what the early videos were. You could go to a rental shop which wasn't censored and view a film in your home without the state or any other government body interfering. They didn't like that. The internet offers exactly the same. It means the internet grew very rapidly, you know, over the 90s. First, it was just a few nerds. That was the image. A few nerds were accessing it. Then now it's grown. Now all the mainstream companies are there, and it's a great big beast that the governments, particularly the UK government, can't control, and its citizens are accessing things, you know, that they can't stop them accessing, and they don't like it. The government won't be happy until they've found a way that to their satisfaction controls the way that what we view and what we read from the net. And if it's anything like what they did on the Video Recordings Act, it will be a very draconian piece of legislation, because the net, to control what we view on the net, the only way you can control it is by doing something very draconian. And we have much more to fear from the government legislation and control of the net than we have anything that we can view from the net, in my opinion.
What I found growing up watching video is that it stimulated thinking. The gaps in the films are so bad, you know, like, you know, in Bloodsucking Freaks, you can tell all the way through it that women are wearing body stockings or whatever, you know. So immediately, like, you know, people would argue about, well, what does that mean? What's that saying? That's stupid. Or it's not stupid. It's funny. It's smart. And I think that those gaps that those movies allow for, like, questions of sexism, or questions of racism, or questions of power, or questions of society, or questions of capitalism, or questions of film production, all come out of video nasty culture and B-movie culture. And when you just go to be emotionally roller coasted on a Steven Spielberg film, any interesting questions are just left. And there's, you know, it's a real experience. It's more true than anything anyone's ever seen before, and it's just like being there. But it's not. It's just again, it's just a homogenising, cold experience.
The censorship thing in this country is changing now, thank goodness. James Furman, who was the president, he was in charge of the British Board of Film Classification for 24 years, has finally gone. I think what's happening now with the internet, new technology, and I think people's attitudes as well to sex, horror and everything else, I think the new people there they brought a different approach, and I think the general, and a lot of films like Driller Killer and stuff, which were effectively banned, have been banned for nearly 20 years, are now available, and that wouldn't have happened under James Furman. I think the censors are taking a more sensible line with it. It's still got further to go. I mean, I think, but the other thing with censorship, unfortunately, it's become very political now, and I think pornography will be legalised, but it won't be legalised because they want to legalise pornography. It's just that there have been quite a few legal battles just recently, which I think forced them to legalise it, and I think they'll reluctantly legalise it. But I'm sure within a couple of years' time, most of the films we're talking about will be available, and I think that'll be a good thing. So I think the time of the censors, I think their time is ending because technology's making them irrelevant.
Transfrontier television, satellite television, is coming in a very big way. The net is already here, and within 2 or 3 years, full-length films will be coming down the net from anywhere in the world, in the original version, or even in maybe a souped-up version. And I don't see how anybody in this country can regulate them.
These sort of movies will have a great future because horror has a great future. It's as variable as you want to make it. It's about people's fears. It's very sort of elementary stuff. It's right down in the roots, and anybody who's prepared to go and dig it up is going to find all sorts of gold, but also hopefully skeletons.
The following feature is one of the most violent films ever made. There are at least 24 scenes